Okay, hi everyone. My name is Carina and I am a high school student in the US right now. And my project is called the Drawing Plan. The Drawing Plan is an interactive drawing application designed for young children with psychological purposes to benefit their health conditions. And before we go into talk about the specific details of the application, I would like to introduce a little background information that is relevant. So, according to the Controlled Disease Center and Prevention, also known as the CDC, mental illnesses such as ADHD, anxiety problems, and depression are the most commonly diagnosed mental illness among children ages between 3 to 17. And in 2016 to 2019, almost 10% of children in the United States was diagnosed with one or more mental disorders. And just a reference, 10% of this population is about 6 million children. And then this number was then raised to 12% in 2020, which is 7.3 millions. And then finally, it was 16% now, which is about 10 millions. So we can see this seemingly exponential growth in mental illnesses among children, which is a really big problem right now. Sorry. So the types of causes of mental illness in children include some of the following. And actually, mental illness is more likely to happen in young children because they're always emotionally engaged in things, unlike adults who have more logical senses. And so some causes include heredity, which in this sense means genetics. And so parents with history or like current diagnosis of mental illness may be inherited to their children. The second one is biology. And it is proven that in children, some causes of mental illness can be the malfunction of parts of brain that controls the emotion, perception, and behavior, which is the reason why they can misbehave. And the third one is psychology. So this one just refers to any type of severe trauma or like memory of things, or and this can include abuse or like any type of loss, like such as they lost somebody who was really important to them. That can be a type of trauma. And the last one is like an environmental factor, which let's say a child is living in a very harmful environment with like an unstable family relationship that can affect their emotional state a lot. And so currently some popular treatments in this field, in the mental illness in children, is very limited because of how delicate the children body functions. And so also abnormal behaviors such as eating disorder, anxiety, and shyness are actually pretty normal among children. So it is hard to figure out like whether a child has mental illness or are they just like being normal, being a child. So the two big categories of treatments are medication, which is most of the times just using to balance internal hormones, so like let's say serotonin, to balance a child's emotional state. And the other is the actual psychotherapy. And in this sense, it includes parent training, child behavior theory, and cognitive behavioral therapy. So the parent training and child behavior therapy is more straightforward. And in this case, let's take ADHD as an example. So parents who have children with ADHD is actually experiencing more challenges in their lives compared to other children who have other mental illnesses, because ADHD is a cause of like misbehaving and like the lack of control. So in this case, instead of focusing on like professional therapy, a way that parents can deal with this is to it is from the list of the following. like specific appreciation and attention, developmentally established directions and rules, and consistent strategies to cope mental illness. And next is the cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a more scientifically proven psychotherapy way. And the emphasis of this method is on one's current life rather than what has led up to the mental illness. And the CBT is based on the core principles of unhelpful ways of thinking and behavior. So because of that, this type of treatment emphasizes on changing the thinking and behavioral patterns, which includes training for better understanding, self-recognition, problem-solving skills, and confidence in the thinking category, and also training for a sense of bravery and relaxation of body and mind, as well as role-playing to prepare for potential problems. And all of these strategies are just designed to build a person's confidence and to build the positive sense of mind in themselves. So despite the very established and developed scientific strategies to cope with mental illness, there are some potential drawbacks, such as the patients reject to communicate and express themselves, which is a pretty common problem in which like children sometimes don't like to talk. And also in terms of medications, there can be side effects in children because of how their body is still immature and they can't really like they're not able to tolerate some medications. And so to solve that problem, I made the project, the drawing plan. And this is a project just designed to help young children between the ages 5 to 10 who struggle with communication difficulties. And this program aids children to utilize their artistic nature to express their thoughts, feelings, and conflicts. And so what this program essentially is doing is that they are motivating children to use art to express themselves. And as we all know, like art sometimes is more direct than speaking or words. And it also solves the problem where some kids might not want to talk. They can be introverted, they can be nervous, especially when they're treated differently. So art is another alternative way to express themselves. And the specialty of this program is the provision of drawing prompts to users. And all drawing prompts are considered carefully for young children to reflect on their lives and to express their struggles and needs to an adult. And here are the examples of the drawing prompts included in the program, such as what does your family vacation look like? What does somebody do when they're home alone? It's lunchtime at school, sorry. So all of these questions are very based on daily lives, so which are designed to help somebody to reflect on their daily lives, and in terms of that, they can effectively reflect what they're thinking about or what they need, such as let's say if somebody gets it's lunchtime at school, they might draw what it looks like when it's lunchtime at school. So like through their drawing, we can see like whether they have friends or whether they have the food they need, or like just their general attitude about very basic things in their daily lives. And here are some example designs. I did all of these in the sketchbook, which is why they're photos. But this is the initial sketch of the program where I have this drawing plane, and then the user can pick colors. And this is just like the general drawing mode of the application. And also here where they can create a character to convey their stories and make essentially making a little storybook. And let's say there's a prompt. An example is Alex is home alone today. So what are they gonna do? And next is the psychological reasoning behind. I got a lot of information from the book, What Happened to You? Conversations on Trauma, Resilience, and Healing. What I got out of that book was that we really have to ensure one is regulated and calm when they're receiving therapy, which is why drawing is another way to ensure that it's a very relaxed activity. And here are some more examples. Like I mentioned earlier, like let's say in this drawing, they have a friend. So perhaps the user doesn't have a lot of friends, or they might feel lonely or stuff like that. And these are the more UI UX designs of the app, where I created the brushes that can be used in the drawing app. And here's the corresponding icons and textures. So last year in November, I launched a little workshop with 8 children, and we used the app made, and they were able to produce a lot of drawings, a lot of very interesting ones. And it was already very clear that each children has a very distinct art style and that they are into different things. So things that I learned from that workshop, after having it with multiple users on the app at the same time, I realized that there was some issues with the program. One of them was that it wasn't running properly after approximately 20 to 30 minutes, and the program would freeze and crash, and the students or the users weren't able to click and draw anything. And also they weren't able to edit their work anymore after they exit out and save their drawing to the gallery. And so here's a little graph that I made of the data that I have. Is like number of malfunction minutes after restarting application. So it had a range from 15 to 22, which with the most being 19 minutes. So about like around 20 minutes, the program was crashing and it wasn't functioning properly. So we had to restart. And yeah, that's the results of the workshop. And next is the app layout. Here are some screenshots from the app. This is the first menu page of the app. You get into the app, and then here's the start button. After you click the start button, it takes you to this menu that gives 3 modes. So there's the free draw mode, there's the get a prompt mode, and the make a prompt mode. The free draw is basically just leads you to like a drawing page, which is this one, and you can draw anything you want. The get a prompt mode would have a pop-up window that is not displayed in this slide right now, but is a window that gives you a prompt from one of the previous page listing all the prompts. And so the user can then follow that prompt to create something that they want. And the make a prompt option, when you click on that, it takes you to this custom prompt page, where this one is more specifically designed for the guardian or the parent of the child who wants to know things in specific, so they can make like a specific prompt, like a title for the child that to guide them draw things. And let's get to the application demo. In the application, when I'm running it, there's going to be background music, so I wouldn't be doing any talking. I'll just be demoing. And there was the demo of the application. I'm sorry that it was a little laggy and that my drawing was really rough because I'm working with a mouse. And in the end, there are some areas to improve. First is definitely to solve the problem that I discovered at the workshop. I have to figure out what caused the crash in the program. And there are some additional points that I want to address further. One of them is to potentially create a more interactive media that includes a patient profile and a guardian profile. So essentially, I want to link the profiles together where there's actually accounts people can have and that they can have their specific drawings saved. So let's say once a child made a drawing, the linking or the linked parent account or caregiver account can see their drawing, which is like a more interactive way of using the program. So this way the like both sides can see what the child has produced. And another thing that is more about a UI UX designs is that I want to further advance the style of the application. All the UI UX designs were hand-drawn and scanned to computers. So I would like to improve the style and then the appearance of the application to create a more child-friendly environment. And that is my presentation. Thank you for listening, and here's my contact information. If you have any questions, you can always go to, there's a website that I created for the drawing plan, and it's just thedrawingplan.com. And yeah, just thank you.